Hi, I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Rihanna, and welcome back to Fresh Off the Broke.
Fresh Off the Broke is about personal experiences growing up Asian American in a predominantly white community, Asian media, and Asian pop culture in general. Race has always been a sensitive topic. Every day there are debates over race. With our podcast, we intend to shed light on the experiences of first-generation Asian immigrants, not put them on a pedestal.
We understand that race isn't everything, but there should be an acknowledgement of people of color, the knowledge gap, and the racial divide that will ideally be broken. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the episode. Today we are going to be discussing Asian comedians / Asian jokes that are actually funny.
Rose. Okay, so first, before we talk about Asian comedians, we want to give a little shout out to a non-Asian favorite, John Mulaney.
Oh yeah.
Because he is proof that you can make jokes about race without actually being offensive. The bit is called John Mulaney Fights Back Against Bullies.
When I was in grade school, I was bullied for being Asian American. And the biggest problem with that is that I am not Asian American. But when I was younger, and this is absolutely true, people thought that I might be Asian American. I have pretty thin eyes. I had very thin eyes when I was a little kid, and I had straight black hair that I wore in a bowl cut. And from the ages of 3 to 8, people thought that I might be a young Chinese person. On the first day that he met me, the guy that is now my best friend, he met me the first day of kindergarten. He went home that night and said, "Papa, today I met a boy with no eyes." And that was me. Kids would make fun of me in middle school. Kids would call me a Chinaman, which of the racial slurs has got to be the laziest. That is just pushing two words together. No work was done there. It was very confusing to me because I'm not Chinese. No one in my family is remotely Asian. I mean, we take our shoes off when we come inside, but that was more of a carpeting thing than anything else. Here's how bad it got, though. I remember when I was in junior high, we had this music appreciation class that we never appreciated. And they took us to hear some classical music once at a symphony orchestra. So we go to a symphony orchestra. In one of these classical pieces, there's a moment where they bang a gong. And every time they banged the gong, all the kids sitting in front of me would stand up, turn to me, and bow like that. Which is some racist but also incredibly well coordinated for a group of 13-year-olds. 13-year-olds are the meanest people in the world. They terrify me to this day. If I'm on the street on like a Friday at 3 p.m. and I see a group of 8th graders on one side of the street, I will cross to the other side of the street because 8th graders will make fun of you, but in an accurate way. They will get to the thing that you don't like about you. They don't even need to look at you for long. They'll just be like, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Hey, look at that high-waisted man. He got feminine hips. And I'm like, no, that's the thing I'm sensitive about. When I was a boy, I was also confused with a woman sometimes over the phone. Because before I went through puberty, I had a voice like a little flute. I was once on the telephone with Blockbuster Video, which is a very old-fashioned sentence. And it is. I was on the telephone with Blockbuster Video. That's like when your grandma would be like, "We'd all go play jacks down at the soda fountain." You're like, "No one knows what you're talking about, you idiot." You know how you talk to your grandma? So I was on the phone with Blockbuster. I'd called them a couple of times in one day to ask about a movie. And I called for a third time. I said, "Hey, yeah, I was just calling to see if you had Addams Family Values yet." And the guy at Blockbuster went, "Hey, lady, I'll tell you when we get Addams Family Values." But look, I wasn't offended as a boy being confused with a lady. I was offended as a lady who was getting pushed around by this chauvinist that works at Blockbuster Video, talking to me like I'm some floozy. I am a proud Asian American woman, and you will treat me with respect. I am a tiger mom.
King.
Notice how he didn't say anything remotely offensive?
Yeah.
Nothing degrading in any way.
John Mulaney is one of those like millennial / Gen Z comedians that don't, I feel like old comedians would just be like, especially old like white male comedians would be like, oh, my wife, like Super Bowl, like it was very bad humor. Well, I guess it was funny to them, but John Mulaney, yeah, sorry.
If you hate your wife so much, why did you like marry her?
Exactly.
Because that was like a huge thing back in the 50s too. If you look at ads and stuff, being like, I remember one time, I'll try to put this up on the screen if I can find it, but it was basically one of those like old-timey comic strips from the 50s, and it was this man looking very like sad and upset, and he was at the doctor, and the doctor was like, oh sir, you're gonna need like official documents or something to prove that he needed antidepressants because his marriage certificate wasn't enough.
That's sad.
Why? I don't understand why it was normal for people to just joke about hating their wives or something. It's like you know how nowadays Gen Z, they joke about
simps.
I was gonna say joking about not doing their homework, but that worked too. Because there's people that procrastinate because other people do it too. You know what I mean? Like people do what other people do.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's almost like self-deprecating humor. Not everyone actually thinks that way of themselves, but they'll do it because everyone else is being self-deprecating. Yeah, that's old-timey humor. Well, not the self-deprecating thing, but
like I'd like to believe that people had happy marriages, but at the same time, there's always that whole like stereotypical middle-class family that seems all happy and whatever, but really like the husband is having like an affair with like the secretary at work, and then the wife is like, I'm gonna leave. Okay, I'm painting a good picture right now. I don't know what just happened.
Who are you calling out?
So many people. Did you know, like, the Addams Family?
Yeah.
They're like the complete opposite of a white middle class family back then. And I forget who the two parents are, but they like are in love with each other.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be the opposite of a typical family. Isn't that sad?
Yeah. I remember, I think it was last year or the year before, but I had this classmate. We were talking about like how like marriages fail for some reason, and then they brought up how it's like mostly heterosexual relationships.
Okay.
Anyways.
Honestly, though, that's true. Because it's always, like, heterosexual people being like, okay, this is generalizing, but let's muse this idea for a little bit. It's always heterosexual people being like, oh, like, gay couples, they're always gonna break up. It's like, sis, didn't you have a divorce last weekend? Like, what? Anyways.
The way you're describing all of these situations today make it sound like you're mad at someone.
No, I'm not. I promise.
Who are you calling out?
No one.
Someone do the research. Okay. Now we're going to move on to Asian comedians because that's the episode. First off, no, we're just going to talk about candy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first off, we have our honorary fresh off the broke kind of guy, Jimmy O Yang.
Yeah.
Immigrant gang. A little bit of background information on him. He is from Shanghai, and then he moved to Hong Kong, and then moved to LA, which is very, like...
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of... I mean, it is still immigration if you're going from Shanghai to Hong Kong, because they're different countries. Well, yeah. Not Shanghai. Shanghai is in China, which is a different country. So he can speak like 3 languages. Yeah, he can speak 4. He can speak Shanghainese, Mandarin, Cantonese, and English.
Flex. No need to
He-
flex, man.
Yeah, but a lot of Chinese people, this isn't me trying to like downgrade him, but a lot of Chinese people are like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like my mom knows a ton of dialect too. That's how it be, you know?
Flex.
You go down the street, you speak a different dialect. I remember during my trip to China, I have these videos that I took of like scenery, and you can hear my family speaking like 3 languages. More on the immigrant thing, he also wrote a book called How to American: An Immigrant's Guide to Disappointing Your Parents, which I think is completely iconic because it basically talks about his experience as an Asian immigrant and how he came to be like where he is now with like being an Asian comedian, being on Crazy Rich Asians, and coming to terms with like his Asian American identity.
Who did he play in Crazy Rich Asians?
Bernard Tai. He was I don't want to say obnoxious, but he was like the annoying friend that threw the extravagant party, the bachelor party. Okay. So we're gonna play 2 clips, our fan favorites, I guess. So the first clip we'll be showing is called "Fans Don't Want to Be Racist." It's a bit from his Amazon Prime stand-up special called "Good Deal."
I see a lot of people out here in the streets, they want to come up to me, but they're not really sure. There's a lot of debate amongst their friends. They're like, hey man, are you sure that's him? If we go up there, we gotta be sure, because if we go up there and it's not him, we're gonna look super racist. Are you sure that's not Ken Jeong? I don't know, looks kind of like Ali Wong, I don't know. And they come up to me, it's always like the first thing they say, like, hey man, aren't you that dude Jeong from that show Silicon Valley? And I was like, oh, thanks. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I am. And then they're like, oh, I didn't even know you speak English in real life. Like, it's called acting.
And now the next clip is called "Dad, Do You Love Mom?" It's also from his Amazon Prime special.
One time I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, after 38 years, do you still love Mom? And he was like, love? Your mom married me to escape communist China. It's not love, it's a good deal. That's how we show love, people.
There we go.
Okay.
Comedy style is very real to the like first gen kid kind of life.
Yeah. Too real. I mean, what?
Jimmy O Yang was also on Larry King, the Larry King show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the way to preface this is that, so he was invited to be on Stephen Colbert, which for some reason I always thought it was Jimmy Kimmel, but it was Stephen Colbert. Yeah. So, it's just, you showed me this clip. You sent the link to me. It's super awkward. Just the way that Stephen Colbert, like, I don't know. Let's just...
Like some of the questions that he asked, do you speak English? What were the hardest parts of Americaning?
Yeah.
I mean, they're normal questions to ask given that he's an immigrant and he immigrated at an older age at 13. But just, why would you ask someone that you're speaking to in English if they can speak English?
I know.
And then he told him that he did it well. Has anyone ever told you that you were good at English?
Yeah.
I get that all the time.
I mean, I get it from, like, white people, and then I also get it from, like, people in the Philippines.
Yeah. I remember one time when I was in China, we were at the store, and my aunt asked me what something was in English, and I said it, and then I think it was the clerk or the cashier that overheard, and she was like, "Wow, nowadays the curriculum is so good." And I was like,
That's awkward.
But the thing is, my family friends in China that like went to school during, I don't know, like the millennial generation, like Gen Z, their English is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like to, I don't know why, people like to think that foreigners can't speak English at all. And I mean, it's not untrue that there are foreigners that can't speak English, but it's not, like, don't treat them like they're stupid.
Yeah. It's weird because when I went back to the Philippines, my cousin refused to speak to me in English, even though apparently his English is like really good and he speaks in English to all of his friends. And in the Philippines, you're not allowed to speak Tagalog in school. It's like you're strictly English only. So I don't know.
That did he not speak to you in English because he was intimidated by the fact that you were?
Yes.
One of my family friends was like that. He was preparing for the English test. I forget what it's called. I can't remember which one it is. There's a ton of them. I remember seeing them on like university websites. There's like IELT or something like that. I wanted to help him practice because we're friends, and also I want him to do well, and I know he can because he's very smart. But I mean, it's understandable that he was shy about it, but I kind of felt bad.
Yeah. Like, the reason why I didn't speak Tagalog, even though I can kind of, was because I was embarrassed, and he didn't want to speak English because he was embarrassed. So we just didn't talk.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
You don't want to speak Tagalog, you don't want to speak English. And then near the end, that's kind of racist when he was talking about how we're all just Chinese people.
That's not racist.
Something about, I just got a weird vibe from that.
Yeah. He didn't say that everyone looked the same. He said that you're all Chinese people because you are.
Yeah. And I mean, we know that Stephen Colbert wasn't like angry.
Yeah.
Or, like, he wasn't like, "Hey, that's racist." He was joking, but I don't know, if you watch the video on YouTube or through us, you can tell that there's just tension for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird. Even the comments are like Stephen Colbert really made this look awkward.
Yeah, and the way he ended it, I know we didn't show it in the clip, but after Jimmy made a joke, Steven was like, "Okay, nice to meet you."
Yeah, like, well, not even a reaction. It was just, okay, nice to meet you. Check out his book.
Check out his book, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Promo.
I haven't read it. I know it's good, but fresh off the broke, you know?
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, if you're listening,
Wanna
help a friend out. Please.
Please.
I want your book.
I guess the next person we can talk about is Ronny Chieng. Question?
Oh, that was a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, you were the one who sent me his Amazon Prime bit. And his style is very aggressive, but funny. You know?
Background information on Ronny Chieng, because we do our research around here. I don't know why I said that so defensively. But he's Malaysian Chinese. He's kind of like Jimmy O Yang with the whole like multiple immigration kind of thing. He also grew up in Singapore, and then he went to law school in Australia, and now he's chilling in the US on The Daily Show. He's a senior correspondent. And another fun fact about him is that in addition to having a comedy special on Netflix, he also created a sitcom on Comedy Central called Ronny Chieng International Student, which talks about his experience studying law in Australia.
I mean, he has a very aggressive comedian style, but it works. Here. Oh yeah, so you showed me the Amazon Prime bit that he did. I'll play that one. So he's talking about Amazon Prime and how, like, America is just very lazy and they order everything. And Amazon Prime should, like, be faster.
In America, there should be no lag. Zero lag. Between when I press the button and when the item is gently placed into my hand. So I can use it now. Oh, same day delivery? Oh, un-American. Same day? Now. Prime now. Break into my house. And put the food I ordered in my mouth. And help me chew it. And then push it down my esophagus with a stick. And then pull the feces out of my anus for me now.
Very aggressive, but funny.
I was gonna say a lot of his comedy is him like not necessarily criticizing, but kind of like making jokes about America. He has a bit about state mottos, talks about New York City subways, stuff like that. But it's well received, so
Yeah.
it's been canceled by the Americans.
Let's play the other clip. He just talks about, like, how he didn't know like certain Asian stereotypes, like math, like being good at math, or like other things that will be discussed in the video. He didn't know that those existed until he moved to America. And yeah.
I don't know what it's like to be a minority Asian, because I come from Asia. We're all Asian over there, all right? I don't know what it's like to be like a minority. I encountered Asian stereotypes for the first time when I moved to America. Never encountered Asian stereotypes before. All these Asian stereotypes, like Asian people are good at math. I didn't know that. In Asia, we're all good at math. I didn't know that was a skill set. I didn't know square rooting 7 was difficult. I just did it. Just did it again in my head. For fun. That's how I entertain myself in between jokes. There's so much going on up here. Or the other Asian stereotype, Asian people are bad drivers. I didn't know that. In Asia, we drive, we crash, we get into another car, then we continue on, right? That's how you get from A to B, right? What are you talking about? Or the biggest stereotype, or should I say the smallest stereotype? Asian people have small I didn't know that. Asian people have small I have nothing to compare it to. Who the measured enough to get a large enough sample size to reduce your standard deviation down to an acceptable margin of error? That's what I want to know, right? That's a little math joke threw in there. That's all the comedy we do in Asia, just math jokes. That's what we do. We have just for math. That's what we do. I got news for you people, all right? I got news for you guys. There's more of me and my kind of race than any other race on the planet. Okay, you know what that means? That means we are the majority. We dictate what is normal behavior. So all that bad driving, small good at math, even if that was true, guess what? That'll be normal, right? Because there's more of us than anyone else on the planet. We dictate what is normal behavior. I could drive down the goddamn street with my feet on the steering wheel, dancing to Gundam Style if I wanted to, all right? And if all of us did it, guess what? That'll become the correct way to drive.
You make Good point, though.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think about when people talk about negative stereotypes such as, well, I'm not saying that like these are negative, but it's like when people say that all Muslims are terrorists or something, because if they actually were, given the amount of Muslims in the world, like we'd be over, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like how they say all Asian people have corona, like COVID-19. If all Asian people had COVID-19, the world would actually be over.
Yeah.
Everyone would just be sick. Everyone would die.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show how like self-centered Westerners are. Like there's literally no acknowledgement of anywhere in the world besides like the West Side.
You know how back then people thought that the Earth was the center of the solar system? You thought that everything revolved around the Earth?
Yeah.
That is that is the United States.
Yeah. It really is.
Because going back to what I said about the whole English thing, I don't like how knowing how to speak English has become a bragging point for foreigners.
I know.
Because people, like non-Americans, can speak more languages.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing for foreigners to learn English, take English classes, English tutoring. Like, go ahead and learn other languages, right? But the thing is, why is it that you have to know English to be successful?
Yeah.
Because you could add, like, random country, Korea or something. You don't have to know English to be successful. You could just be successful in Korea. And that's the thing. Like, why is it that if you know English, you can be famous internationally?
Stupid. Especially, okay, I'm really about to bring this up, but like the whole thing about BTS coming out with an English song, like I think it's a good thing because, they're world famous at this point, right? Everyone knows who BTS is, right? But then again, I feel like they shouldn't have felt obligated to make an English song because there's a lot of fans being like, finally they came out with an English song. It's like, why are you listening to a Korean band if you wanted them to speak in English? What, like, I don't. Why are you that entitled for you to be like, finally,
Yeah, because that was the beauty of listening to international artists.
Yeah.
That's why people, I don't know, for example, people watching anime and liking the soundtracks and songs.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be English songs, but that's not the point.
Yeah. It's K-pop, not pop.
And I was actually surprised that BTS released an English song.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
back in the day, there was an interview where someone asked them if they were going to release English songs, and I think RM, he said something about like them being Korean, like they don't have to, and I really don't think that they have to. If this was something that they felt like doing because they wanted to and they thought it'd be fun, it would be cool, maybe like practice in a way.
Yeah.
Go ahead, but I would be sad if I found out that it was just because they
They're
wanted.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's super, I don't know. It's super like all of a sudden they're popular in the West and now everyone's like, speak English, speak English. It's like, no.
Why don't you go learn Korean?
Exactly. Do what us pioneers did and learn Korean.
Pioneers.
Oh God. But yeah, it's super entitled and like, again, like what you said, if they did it because they wanted to, good for them. But the amount of people being like, finally they did this, because like I've heard a lot of people saying, yeah, even though they're K-pop, they have so many fans in the West, so they should be singing English music. And it's like, no, the West isn't like what makes you big, right? Like, yeah, now you're worldwide, but Asia is also very big.
Yeah, exactly. You know how many God, do they not understand that they're millionaires?
Exactly. Like, they don't need to listen to you.
Not everyone hides their money in Switzerland.
I know.
Who did I just call out?
Who did you call out?
One last thing before we move on to the next person. I just think it's sad because I don't think that I'm a better person, like a better Chinese person or something, because I know English. And I know that there's a lot of children of immigrants, or like immigrants in general, that feel embarrassed or ashamed because they or their parents don't know English, which I understand because, like bullying, stuff like that, social norms, societal norms, stuff like that. But, like, this is more me criticizing the Western perspective on immigrant parents and stuff. But why don't you try to learn one sentence in their language?
I know. Have you seen that one post on Instagram where it's like, it was like an article, someone replying to an article on Twitter, and the article was like, this girl, she was like a 4-year-old white girl, and it was like, she speaks 4 languages, or she speaks like 3 languages, and then someone replied being like, yeah, so do like most immigrants, but they don't get celebrated because they're not white.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think I saw someone shared on their story. I have another one that I saw. It was a question that someone asked on Twitter, and it was, what is considered classy if you're rich, and then like trashy if you're poor, and then someone like speaking more than one language.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I don't mean to bring Donald Trump into this, but like his granddaughter, is his granddaughter, or is it his, I think it's his granddaughter. I don't know if I care enough about Donald Trump to fact check this, but she's like really young, maybe like 4 years old, and she's learning Mandarin, which I think that was definitely to appeal to the CCP, which is a whole different thing. But like, why is it cool if some rich person knew French, knew Spanish? Oh, like rich white person, I meant to say.
Yeah.
But then you have an actual Spanish person knowing Spanish, English, insert other language, but that's considered trashy because then they end up having an accent when they speak English.
I know.
But don't you have a lousy English accent when you're trying to speak Spanish at Chipotle?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. They think it's funny when they try to speak another language and then they might have an English accent. But then if an immigrant has an accent while speaking English, it's like, yikes.
I know, and it's like, what
Someone didn't get an education.
Oh my god, I forget.
That's how people think.
We went off.
we were a little mad, but I mean, I guess it's the Ronny Chieng effect.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing about Ronny Chieng, because I guess I like to think this is important, but he had a viral response to this Fox News segment where, hang on. So there was a Fox News segment by Jesse Waters that many people thought were racist because he went to Chinatown and he basically mocked the residents.
Rice gum type beat.
Sorry?
Rice gum type beat.
Oh my god. We could do a whole episode on something like that.
Yeah.
And we may or may not have that in the works, but what? Did I just
Something?
What? Spoiler alert? So, Ronny Chieng, he was on the Daily Show, and he went back to Chinatown and conducted interviews in Mandarin and Cantonese, getting the residents' responses, and they were really savage.
What did they say?
what? Just picture an angry Asian woman or like an angry Asian older people. They go off when they're mad.
That's true. Getting flashbacks. This next guy is also kind of aggressive type humor, but also very laid back, very 18 plus. He's hilarious. But Bobby Lee, he's Korean. We didn't. Let me get some more background info on this guy.
Rihanna.
He's old, man. He's 48. It's not old, but he's old compared to all these other guys, right? Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy is, I think, around 30. Ronnie is also around that age, too.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. Like, Ronnie's married.
Is Bobby? No, Bobby is not married. Wait, maybe he is.
Doesn't he?
Kyla Kuhn. He has a wife? What?
Oh, yeah, then, okay. I was just making sure. Yeah, she's on his podcast.
Oh my gosh, she's Filipino! I didn't know this. What the?
Can we keep this reaction in?
Yes. Wait, she majored in biochemistry. Jesus Christ. She's American Filipino with an Egyptian ancestry. She was born in Cebu. God damn.
Rihanna doing her research live.
Of course, Bobby, and she's like significantly taller than him, can I just say?
What's that supposed to mean? No, I'm kidding.
No, like she's like a head taller than him.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bobby Lee is a Korean.
Rihanna, but all over.
He's a Korean-American actor, comedian, and podcaster. And I think maybe you guys might know him because there's this viral clip of him talking about his like it's him on a podcast and him talking about how he was taking pictures of his dead dad and sending it to his mom because she wanted it. We're not going to show that. But we are going to show this clip of him talking about how Asian parents have no filter. And he's been around for a while.
You know what I hate about Asian parents? They're so honest. Like, they have no filter. They have no editing system. Whatever they think, they say. This is my dad. Good morning, Dad. You look ugly today. You look horrible. Don't go outside. You are ugly. You made me, motherfucker.
He's very 18 plus, as I said. Very aggressive, offensive humor, which is kind of my sense of humor, which is why I like him so much. But yeah, he's been around.
Watch the Amazon Prime thing.
Yeah, Bobby Lee's been around. He's also well, I guess a small segue. He's been on Just Kidding News, which is like a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also like, I guess they could count as comedians, like that channel. And someone who is also part of Just Kidding News is David So, who is also, he was like a YouTuber comedian. He's Korean also, and he has his own podcast now as well.
Oh, by the way, Bobby Lee's podcast is called Tiger Belly, if you want to check it out.
Oh, Genius Brain is David So's. David So Comedy is his, like, basically.
Ah.
Yeah.
Jimmy O Yang's is funny Asian dude.
Who else can we talk about? Oh, another Korean guy that I'm sure everyone knows about is Jeong.
Jeong is a legend, man.
He really is. Do you want to talk about him?
Jeong, I don't know if I really have to introduce him. I mean, I will, for the sake of this, but we all know who Jeong is. He's an American stand-up comedian, actor, producer, writer, legend, television.
That's on his Wikipedia page.
And a licensed physician. And him and Ronny Chieng are like model Asian students in a way.
I know.
Because you have law school, licensed physician, went to med school, and because I'm not saying like, the only real way to be a comedian is if you drop out of this and drop out of that and then just go to comedy, or if you didn't do that, then you're a bad kid or bad Asian. I mean, you're a bad Asian according to Asian parents.
Yeah, that's what your
Which
parents
is
say.
not true. But I don't know. It's just a flex being like, yo, I'm a licensed physician, but I'm going to go act instead.
Yeah.
Because other people, they can't do
that.
They can't. They're like, what? What?
Damn.
And I love watching his just like medical videos because I don't know, his personality in general is just very. I want to be friends with that guy.
Yeah.
And he also knows medical facts.
Doesn't he have a show? Not BuzzFeed, or is it BuzzFeed?
What did you?
He has like that thing where it's like Ken Jeong answers your questions.
Oh, your medical question?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that was hang on, that was just part of a YouTube channel. He did have a show called Dr. Ken though on ABC, but that's something else. One second. Ken Jeong answers medical question. Yeah, that was part of a series called Tech Support on Wired. That's a
Oh, why did I think BuzzFeed? Oh my god.
Rihanna.
I apologize to Wired. I'm sorry.
They didn't deserve that. Ken Jeong has been in so many. He's just everywhere.
He really is.
He's been on a ton of popular American movies, Hangover film series. He was on Community, which isn't a movie, I'm aware. A fun fact about Ken Jeong and Crazy Rich Asians is that he basically begged to be on it. I don't mean like they weren't gonna let him on, then he begged for them to have him on. It was because he knew that this was gonna be such a big movie and such a like monumental moment that he knew he had to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he deserves a role.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's completely an Asian American icon.
Yeah. He is like back then, not that long. When I was younger, I felt like he was like the staple Asian, you know.
Yeah. that kind of goes both ways because I mean med school.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The Asian parents like him. The Asian disappointment kids like him.
Every Asian likes him.
Yeah. Ken Jeong. Everyone's Asian dad. Next up, we have Hasan Minhaj, another iconic Asian American comedian, television host. Well, I guess.
Wait, I need to sneeze. It's gone. Sorry. Okay. It didn't happen.
I guess former television host. We'll get to that in a second. But do you want to talk about him a little bit?
Okay, so
I feel like this should be like a joint introduction, I guess.
Yeah. So he's worked on The Daily Show. He was a featured speaker at the 2017 White House Correspondents' Dinner. I didn't know that. And his first stand-up comedian special, or comedy special, Homecoming King, debuted on Netflix on May 23rd, 2017, and apparently received a lot of positive reviews from critics. And he earned his first Peabody Award in 2018. But as we know now, do you want to talk about how Netflix...
Oh, well, he left The Daily Show to host his former weekly comedy show, Patriot Act, with Hasan Minhaj. I can't believe, okay, so, well, In recent news, his show got canceled by Netflix along with a bunch of other shows and movies by POC because I don't even know what Netflix is doing. I saw that it was canceled because it was quote unquote too controversial. Because from what I saw on the news was that people thought it was too controversial because he talked about stuff from a brown Muslim lens, which is something that America isn't very used to.
Yeah. Okay, but the thing is, like, his assistant, like, tweeted out, I'll just read it. She said, "A lot of people have asked me to talk about Patriot Act. I avoided it because each time I relive the experience of being humiliated and gaslit, targeted and ignored, I sink back into days of depression. Tweeting this will probably not help me or anyone who has suffered. But women braver than me already spoke up. This show was necessary and an important oh my gosh. The show was a necessary and important one, and I am proud of my work there to this day. I am also grateful for the opportunities it gave me, but I wonder if it was worth the mental anguish I went through over my last few months there. I wish we still had Patriot Act. I wish they truly practiced the progressive ethos they cultivated on screen. Then they would really deserve all your love." So that's what she tweeted out, and that's what I heard, like, maybe that's why it got canceled.
I guess I had a little bit of a lack of information because when I first heard about this, they said that it was because he talked about controversial things, which, I mean, I'm not saying it's understandable in the sense that I agree that it's controversial, but, like, given the state of things and the fact that, like, Netflix is just canceling a bunch of good shows, I mean, I was as mad as other people, but at the same time, I had actually never seen Patriot Act only because I don't have Netflix. But I mean, if there was a toxic work environment, that is something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Weird, because the show went on for like 6 years.
But how?
I mean, Ellen's show also went on for a really long time, and then people recently started coming out against her saying that she was a very
Yeah. You can kind of tell from just when she has guests on, but
yeah,
it's good that people are finally acknowledging that.
What we saw just now with the producer, I don't know, it's weird because, I mean, I'm not, like, invalidating her thing, because I'm just confused because she was, like, a higher up, but at the same time, women always get abused at the workplace.
Yeah.
Why? Maybe I was given false information and people were taking it differently? I removed an episode streaming, hang on.
Well, because she tweeted something, right?
Yeah. In 2019, the comedy talk series found itself at the center of controversy when Netflix removed an episode from streaming in Saudi Arabia after officials from the kingdom complained it was critical of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and his alleged role. Huh. So I guess being controversial did have something to do with it. It didn't get canceled earlier.
Yeah.
Because 6 years is a long time. And 6 years ago, 6 years ago was like 2014. 2014 wasn't. Oh, 6th season. Not 6 years. Ah. Never mind. But still, 6 seasons is a lot.
Yeah.
American shows, they always do seasons, and a new season. I mean, I guess for this one, it was just between 2 years, but most American television shows is 2 seasons a year or a season a year.
Yeah. And unless they get really big, they usually only have like 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah. Weird. I don't know. It's just because Netflix was always known to be like, well, I don't know, always known, but they seemed like they were a little bit more liberal because they did have, you know, the half of it, stuff like that, that wouldn't slide in other places. But then recently, like I said earlier, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, they have been canceling a lot of BIPOC shows. And I remember I saw a clip of a new movie that was coming out soon about a Muslim girl that saw these white girls twerking, and then
before so I read something that was saying that it was originally by like a French filmmaker, and it wasn't, there was something about, it's like what's going on around and people like saying that it's like pedo bait. It's actually not. And it's just the way that Netflix is advertising it makes it seem like it's that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's so basically like Netflix is using pedo bait to what's the word? Advertise the movie, but like the original movie picture like that they were advertising it for, it was like those girls, but they were all holding hands, like walking down a street laughing together.
Oh.
And like it said cuties in French, but then the Netflix, I was gonna say the pedo version, the Netflix advertisement is them like basically half naked on a stage.
What the heck?
Yeah, there's
French because I could tell that they were speaking. I could understand what they were saying, but I didn't realize. Well, then what the heck? That's
yeah,
very shady.
very.
In that case, I kind of feel bad for the creator of the movie.
Yeah, they completely ripped her off. Like they're making it seem like it was some pedo who made this movie, but really it's like commentary on like religion and like stuff like that. And apparently it's pretty well done, but it's just the way that Netflix was advertising it was not it, sis.
The heck? Okay, well.
Moving on. A very notable female Asian comedian is Ali Wong. I'm sure a lot of people are not acquainted, familiar with her.
Everyone's friends with Ali Wong.
Yeah, everyone is. So, Ali Wong, aka Alexandra Wong. Wait, also, before I continue this, Ken Jeong, his full name is Kendrick. I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I did not. Okay, anyways. Ali Wong is a Vietnamese Chinese American stand-up comedian, actress, and writer. She's noted for her Netflix stand-up specials Baby Cobra and Hard Knock Wife, both of which received critical acclaim. I guess something that really, resonates with us is that she wrote for the first 3 seasons of Fresh Off the Boat, which, fresh off the insert name here, you know?
Yeah.
She produced and wrote the film Always Be My Maybe with her co-star Randall Park, which
Also a legend.
Yes. What else can I say? Oh, and she was the new student Allie on Big Mouth.
Oh, I haven't seen Big Mouth.
I have.
I don't have Netflix or anything.
Okay, to be honest, you wouldn't like Big Mouth because it's very, very inappropriate. Like, and they're showing everything too. Like, it's very inappropriate, but like, yeah. Do you have anything else to add about her?
I don't, only because I've seen clips from her comedy special, and a lot of them are about like sex. And I remember there was like this one thing she was like commentating on like guys' O-face. I don't think that's something we can like. And her comedy special doesn't have much to do with being Asian American. Like when she was talking about like Hard Knock Wife, that was a lot about, she was pregnant during that.
Yeah.
Like on her Netflix special, she was very much pregnant, and then a lot of her comedy was about like that.
Yeah, that's what I like about her comedy special, because she's not really focusing on the fact that she's Asian. She's focusing on just regular things that people go through, which is something that we need, because there's a lot of people who are Asian talking about Asian problems. Example, literally us. But it's good for people of color to be just talking about what I guess like white people comedy would just be. Not white people comedy.
Regular observational comedy?
Yes, that type of stuff. Because in order for people of color to be integrated like into this, we can't continue to be like only talking about being Asian, right?
Yeah. I get that. It's we didn't show this clip, but there was like Jimmy O Yang said something about how it's not really a choice to represent or not.
Yeah.
You're Asian, you kind of gotta represent, and that's not necessarily saying that you have to represent, with all like political things. I mean, it's important, but at the same time, for example, like if Ali Wong came out with a Netflix special, which she did, she doesn't have to talk about, oh, I'm an Asian American woman.
Yeah.
John Mulaney can do that.
Yeah.
John Mulaney got that covered. The only Asian American woman.
Queen. Okay. Honorable mentions include.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mentions include, but not limited to, Randall Park, Mindy Kaling, Jo Koy, which, and Lily Singh.
You were the one that put him on the list.
Okay, I'll talk about him later.
Okay, Randall Park. We mentioned him earlier while we were talking about Ali Wong. He did Always Be My Maybe with her. Sometimes I'm sad when I hear about all these Netflix specials because I couldn't actually watch Ronny Chieng's Netflix special, and I couldn't actually watch Always Be My Maybe, or like the half of it and stuff like that, because I don't have Netflix. So while I'm happy there's representation, I can't see it. One very iconic and funny fact about Randall Park is that over the course of 1 year, he filmed 7 episodes of a soap opera at IKEA without getting caught. He just... You've probably seen the meme. I'll look for it. But how do you...
IKEA's big, man.
I mean, this was back in 2009. And I feel like... Sorry?
Bro, that was more than 10 years ago. Sorry, that just sunk in.
It was called IKEA Height. And it was this big, melodramatic kind of joke soap opera.
Mm.
But in a way, I can see why they didn't get noticed. Because, I mean, aside from the fact that he also wasn't well known yet, I mean, technically he's not well known now. If we really were to go like there, all of the people we mentioned today, they're not really quote unquote famous, only because, like the way Hollywood works, white people, like, even if you're a famous Asian person, you're still less famous.
But even, like, I think Ken Jeong is pretty...
Yeah, because he's been in Hollywood movies, though.
Yeah.
Not to discredit Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong, if you're listening to this, I actually love you. Yeah, I just feel like, it's like earlier with the Jimmy O Yang bit about how fans don't want to be racist or something. People don't want to assume. I mean, that's not me trying to defend them because Asians don't all look alike. What the heck? But I feel like if it wasn't Randall Park doing this, someone else was doing it, they'd probably get noticed. And then it'd become a viral YouTube meme or something. And I mean, this did become a meme, but it became a meme after.
Yeah.
It was more of a, oh, wait, this happened in the past? So if you want to watch IKEA Heights, it's out on YouTube.
So much gold on YouTube. This reminds me of like old YouTubers. Okay.
It's the quality.
Yeah. So next person on our honorable mention list, Mindy Kaling, which I pronounced Kaling earlier.
You really had to call yourself out even though you cut it out.
Yes. The Filipino popped out. Just saying. I'm Filipino, I swear.
Pinoy hour.
So I'm pretty sure everyone knows her from The Office.
What? The Office?
I've never heard of The Office. Is that like some new like show?
Yeah, I think so. It came out yesterday.
Oh really? Oh okay. I've never
seen
seen
it. You should check it out.
Yeah. Good. But yeah, but seriously, The Office. She was on The Office. I'm trying to think, is there any other Asian on The Office? There probably is. Oh, there was that one episode where why did I think John Mulaney? That is not his name. Jim.
Oh,
Jim. He's like trying to convince Dwight that he's Asian. I don't even know I remember that. But I can't think of any other Asian people. I'm probably wrong, but yeah.
I'm gonna be attacked, but I have a reason for this. I haven't seen The Office because I never had like the proper cable to go and like watch shows like that. I just didn't have a channel, and also I don't have Netflix. Someone pay for my Netflix.
It's very again, it's like it's popular. I mean, not popular. It's like funny to like. It would be funny to us, but it's like mainly funny to people who actually work in offices. You know.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know why Gen Z people find it funny. Because I find it funny, but
I think Gen Z people find it funny because of the comedy style and the way the camera work.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because that's like what people do now.
Who are you calling out the way you said that?
Everyone.
In this episode, Rihanna called out someone every 5 seconds. It's probably you.
Myself. Oh, she was in like voice acting for Despicable Me, Wreck-It Ralph, and Inside Out.
Yeah, she's done a lot of. She's everywhere. Well, she's everywhere, and really she also got attention because she created the Mindy Project.
Yeah.
A comedy series from 2012 to 2017. We got the numbers. And she also created Never Have I Ever, which was critically acclaimed, right, on Netflix?
Yeah.
Right? I don't have Netflix. Probably the 5th time I said that. that meme. No one. Tiffany. I don't have Netflix. Yeah, the show Never Have I Ever was described as a watershed moment for South Asian representation in Hollywood because they were breaking Asian stereotypes, but also well, I mean, I already said that they were doing Asian representation, but it was a big deal because South Asians are usually ignored because most people are just thinking of East Asians when they think of Asians. Specifically, when someone thinks of an Asian person, well, I guess in the West, like stereotypically, when someone thinks of someone that's Asian, they think of maybe a Chinese person.
Yeah, it's always East Asian.
Yeah. And in case you didn't know, the series was renewed for a 2nd season.
Yay!
Woohoo!
What was I gonna say? I think like South Asians in Western media are probably like the least represented.
Yeah. Also has to do with like colorism.
Yeah. But yeah. Who's next on our list?
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, okay, let me go off on this. So, an honorable mention is Jokoi because, okay, so this guy is like...
I genuinely don't know who this person is.
I'll give you a rundown on this man, okay? So I think in the past couple years, Jo Koy, his full name is like Joseph something, but his like stage name is Jo Koy. He's half Filipino, and he's a comedian. And oh my god, I need to sneeze again. But so for the past couple years, he's been getting pretty famous. His like hype has died down a little bit recently, but he has a couple like Netflix specials as well, like just him doing stand up. And I think he has a YouTube channel. But his jokes are very stereotypical Filipino jokes, right? He always talks about his mom who's Filipino and like how that was growing up. But sometimes his jokes, again, very Filipino, like making fun of like other Asians, type thing. And personally, he's not, I don't find him funny because one, his jokes are kind of like, very basic level, like, oh, you take off your shoes when you enter the house. Oh, I only eat rice. Stuff like that, right?
Oh, yeah?
But, my parents and, like, my cousins, they find him hilarious. And, like, my mom would just, like, watch this guy do stand-up, and she'd, like, be laughing, but I never really found him funny, because, again, it's very basic. And yeah, there was this one clip that we were watching together earlier, and it's very much just making fun of other Asians.
Do you want to give the audience an example? Context.
The clip was him talking about how you can differentiate different Asians, and it was just him like mocking accents, basically. But yeah, I wanted to keep him in the honorable mentions because he is like pretty famous in the Filipino community. But again, I don't find him funny. Maybe the people listening do. I don't know. No offense, but yeah. And finally, our last honorable mention is Lily Singh. Do you want to talk about her, or should I?
Do you want to start and then I add?
Okay. So Lily Singh, I think she's an honorable mention because she's pretty much a comedian. She has her own talk show. She started off doing comedy on YouTube, but she's also Canadian, which we are also Canadians, so...
Oh, really?
Are we?
I thought it was French.
Oh. I thought it was, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Oh, I was just gonna say that when we were doing research for this and I looked up Asian Canadian comedian, no one came up.
That's awkward.
Like, that's not me saying that she's not funny or she's not whatever. It's just I think it's good that we're mentioning her because, whether or not people think that her late night show is funny or is good, she is someone that's representing Asian Canadians. And I mean, like, growing up, her music videos, her YouTube videos were pretty big. She would make those comedy sketches about her parents, right?
Yeah. I think that's why I consider her a comedian, but that's also why people don't, because she started on YouTube, and apparently if you start on YouTube, you're always going to be known as a YouTuber. So
I guess it depends on what kind of YouTuber you are.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, look forward to our Asian YouTubers video, because I'm excited for that one.
Oh, people accuse her of cultural appropriation?
Oh, are you kidding?
Accused of cultural appropriation, appropriating Afro-Indo-Caribbean culture on her channel because of her tendency to don a black accent while making rap videos.
Okay, let me just say something about that.
I've never heard of people accusing her.
I can understand why people are, because one, Toronto slang, but okay, Toronto slang is made up of so many different languages, or not languages, but like, oh, well, yeah, languages, mainly from Black culture. But there's also, like, especially people saying, like, oh, wallahi and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know?
here is, she responded saying that all my friends from Scarborough act exactly like me.
Exactly.
I just didn't know she got criticized for something like that.
I can understand. I mean, it's when people, like straight up just, like, white kids use Scarborough slang. It's, like, questionable, but at the same time, I can understand why people use it, because that's just how people are in Toronto, you know? I mean, not Scarborough slang, Toronto slang. Scarborough likes to call it Scarborough slang, but it's spread out into Toronto slang at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's one other thing we should mention. I mean, one thing that we should mention before we, like, end the Lily Thing segment. She's the first openly LGBTQ plus person, also, like, the first person of Indian descent to host a late night talk show on, like, an American broadcasting network.
Wait, oh my god, I'm about to sound super... I didn't know she was part of the LGBTQ plus community. Okay, well, I guess that wraps up our Asian comedian episode.
Asians are funny, and these are quality Asian jokes.
And you can also be making Asian jokes without being racist, aka John Mulaney.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in today. We hope you check out these people. We'll have the link to the bits and stuff in the description, unless we run out of characters, but we shouldn't. Leave a comment about your favorite Asian comedian, someone we missed, someone you want us to check out. Maybe give us your thoughts on some of the bits we showed today. And maybe you're an up-and-coming Asian comedian.
Hell yeah.
Tell us about that. No? Do some of that self-plug. But don't be like those people on Instagram that are like, don't be honest. Are my beats fire?
No, your beats are not fire. Lil Drip. I don't know. I was thinking of
Lil Drip.
That's my rap name.
I'm looking that up. Lil Drip. Lil Drip. There is a Lil Drip.
Oh my gosh.
Lil Drip is an American singer, rapper, songwriter, and social media star.
Okay, I did not know that.
For his account.
I didn't know that.
He was a Musical.ly star.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, well...
Rihanna.
Never mind, I am not Lil Drip. But, you know what? Terrible segue. But if you want to find out more about us, you should look at the card link in our Instagram bio, because it has links to all of our streaming. It has links to all of our streaming platforms, such as Spotify, Anchor, and others. So you should follow us, and we like post other stuff and like announcements. And I want to swear, but I can't. But yeah.
At who?
No, I want to say, bleep this out, but follow us for more behind-the-scenes content, announcements, and other random we decide to put on.
Oh my god, why?
I don't know.
Family friendly. Well, we're not. I mean, we are. But
yeah.
Rihanna's been holding it in this whole time.
I really have.
Anyways, like I said before, thank you for listening, and we do hope that you check out these people. They're amazing, and I mean, they've done a lot for representation, whether or not it's them talking about being Asian, the fact that we get to see them on screen, on Netflix, or on, you know, a Hollywood thing. It's awesome.
Yeah, just like Jimmy O Yang said, you don't have a choice. So yeah.
next time.
Bye.